G'day, welcome to the channel. Hope everyone's having a good day out there today. And welcome to Glen Innes, Australia's version of Stonehenge. Standing stones they call them here. I'm up in the New England highway. I've driven down from Tenterfield. Of course I'm on my the last leg of the trip and my Troppo trip, I call it. Well, the solution to avoiding going Troppo, and of course that is today's topic. But I'm going to swing this around so you can see. I'm just going to go back, just walk back, you can see it. And this is Glen Innes' version of Stonehenge in the UK, and here we've got it in New South Wales in the New England Highlands, and it's quite a beautiful place and it's pretty cool but not too cold. I've been here before, but about 8 years ago, and it was very misty. Of course we're up quite high, I should say. And it was hard to see them as clear as I can today, but I'll just pan around. It's a big park. There's not a lot of people, usually don't get a lot. There's the most people, actually it's the third time I've been here, but every time I come here it's really misty, so this is the best day that I've actually got. And there's a bit of a walk up there, and then of course, and they have a celebration, the Celtic culture here, the Scottish culture, which is my heritage back in the day from my grandmother's side, my mother's side. So maybe that's why I'm drawn to this place. Maybe for that reason. Swing it back to my mug. Yeah, so I'm on the last stage of the week trip, sponsored by Bitcoin. Okay, I just want a bit of a shout out to Bitcoin for sponsoring me on this trip. Of course, it's tongue in cheek, but for all those people probably 6-7 years ago said Bitcoin's a waste of time, well, it's got me a few holidays, so that's the reason I can take this mental health week break, we could call it. The solution to avoiding going Troppo, and I'm going to talk about Troppo. It's a bit of a light-hearted one, this one, but it's just for those people who may want to consider moving up to the tropics and how hard it can be. And the reason I take this break well, this is the third year running that I've taken a week off and come down south, down to New South Wales, just to recharge the battery and to get into the cool weather. I really enjoy it, because when you're in the heat all the time and when you're sweating all the time 6-7 months of the year, it becomes draining. And that's why they've got that that catchphrase, living in the tropics is going Troppo. And that usually, or that feeling of going Troppo hits you between November and December. It's a lead up to the wet season where the heat is so intense it literally can drive you mad, especially the first few years. In fact, the statistics show that in that region where I live, far north Queensland, and I know I've met so many people and so many people leave, it's very transient. And most people last about 2 years, and unless they've bought into the place, I spent a lot of money on like housing, they virtually pack up and leave and head down south. It gets that intense because people have this idea that living in the tropics is a dream life. Well, it's not bad, that's for sure, but it's not perfect, and nowhere is. And as the people who watch this will know, that nowhere's perfect. And Cairns, or north of Cairns where I live, is certainly one of those places, because 6 months of the year you can't go outside as much. It's too hot. You can't jump in the ocean. It's full of crocodiles and jellyfish and other good stuff that inhabits the waters of the far north. And also the insects and etc. etc. A lot of people get this fantasy idea that they're going to live near the rainforest. Well, I do live near the rainforest, and believe me, at night it's tough, because the trees give off or release carbon dioxide, which just makes it more humid. and then you really suffer. And without AC, air conditioning for 6 months of the year, it's just no way. Even the hardened person, and I've tried it before, it's really tough to make it through that whole wet season. So as a result, I do this towards the end of the wet season. I'm a little bit late this year because the weather down south has been so bad with rain. They've had their own Pacific Ocean storm a little bit further from here where I am, where I usually go back to my hometown. It's been pretty tough going down there, where they've had flooding and rain for weeks on end. And so I didn't really get down there. I was meant to, but I didn't. And I'm just going to flick it over here. I'm just looking over the town of Glen Innes here. It's a very beautiful place. There we go. Let's just do a pan around for what you can see. It has certainly changed. Like I said, it's been 7 years since I've been here, and what I could see before, the trees have certainly grown. They do get a bit of rainfall up here, not as much as we get in the tropics, but as you can see, it's a very, very beautiful place. If you love the cold weather and the breeze, and I think it'd be a nice place to live, but not permanently. I think a year here, I wouldn't mind doing a year here, but I'm not sure it could be full time. So yeah, trip sponsored by Bitcoin, because that's tongue in cheek, but it is. That's how I can afford it the week down here, because one of the previous videos I did a cabin review of the type of cabin I stayed in Tenterfield. The price here in Australia, that was just average price. It does range, but it is expensive, and this is the low season of the price I quoted with that particular accommodation, or that cabin, which was about 150 bucks. In fact, it was 150 bucks at Tenterfield, and in the school holidays, those prices go up to 200 and even more a night. So it's not a week, of course not. It's a night. So you're looking at $1,000 to $1,200 a week in a cabin in the New England area or away from the coastline. So it's quite expensive, Australia. I'm sure, and other countries are suffering the same issues as well, and which is making it hard for people to travel. I'm just going to approach the Stonehenge, okay, or the standing stones they call them here, because I can't copy the name in the UK, but a lot of people call it the Stonehenge. I'll just stop because I don't have a selfie stick, and I'm going to flick over, and there we go. There, I'm just going to last pan of where I'm at. It's quite windy. We're quite at a high altitude here, so the breeze has picked up. Luckily it's not too cold, but cold enough. Yeah, so this is the reason I do this trip. I get away by myself, mental health break. It's really a break from the Troppos, which of course, break from being going Troppo, but from the tropics, I should say. It's just a break from work and all, the heat of the far north, because it does get to you. It does wear you down. I'm in and out of the heat with my job, so I am affected by it. Some days worse than others, but this is the main reason I do this trip, is to reset, refocus, and to appreciate the far north when I go back. And it usually works. Well, it does not usually. It works for a period of time, and then I get itchy feet, and then probably in a few months, as September rolls down the track, it gets a bit warm again. I think, well, geez, I'd love to do another trip down south to get away from the beginning of the wet season, which actually starts in November, end of October, November. You really feel it. If you're unlucky, you'll feel it in about October. Fingers crossed it hits about November. So yeah, that's the reason I'm doing this trip, is to get away, to reset, refocus, clear the head, clear the mind. Being by yourself does that. Being by myself for weeks on end, I probably wouldn't like. I think it'd get a little bit mundane. I wouldn't say boring, but a bit mundane. But that week, or even 2 weeks, which I took 2 weeks last year, is really good, and it really helps you, and it gets you a little bit more motivated about life again. In fact, it does get you motivated. Well, it does for me, gets me motivated about life a little bit more. So that's the reason I'm doing this trip. I've covered a lot of miles. I've still got a few more miles to cover. My last stop, and then tomorrow, although these won't be played in succession. I'll be all over the shop, these videos, when they're released. But back in Brisbane tomorrow to fly back to the tropics. Apparently the weather up there is really nice, so I'll be looking forward to that. Wind has really picked up here. It gets really icy. I can imagine what this place would be like. They do get snow here every year. Well, not every year, but the last year they did get snow. They got snow dusting for a week, I heard. So it does get quite cold, and I can feel it now. Okay guys, until next time, au revoir from the background there, the Standing Stones, or affectionately known as Stonehenge, from Glen Innes, New South Wales. See you on the road. Until next time, peace out.